And welcome, folks, to Champions for Life. I'm your host, Ken Wilson. So delighted to be in the studio with you today. Shout out to KKVV, who's simulcasting this broadcast. KKVV, the light of Las Vegas. All the shows on KKVV are available via their website as well at kkvv.com. And we love them. We absolutely love them. We love Alyssa and the general manager and all the staff and all the wonderful things they're doing there. Las Vegas is blessed by a great radio station. The views and opinions of the broadcaster and Champions for Life do not reflect the opinions of First Choice Pregnancy Services or their staff. We are so lucky to have in studio today George Harris. George Harris is running for State Senate, District 8. And George, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
But before we get to George, and we're getting to him very quickly, we've got some announcements that we want to take care of. The first of which is on May 14th. May 14th at 12 noon, we're going to have a pastor's luncheon. First Choice Pregnancy Services, which is the organizing ministry of this show, is also hosting a pastor's luncheon. And pastors, we're going to buy you lunch. It's just that simple. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be at 12 noon. It will be at the Four Seasons Church. This is 2980 South Durango, and it's RSVP. Now, you have to RSVP by May 13th. So, pastors, please let us know that you're coming so that we know, how much food to bring. And but we are going to let you know everything about First Choice, what we're doing, the impact that First Choice is making in Las Vegas and in our state and around the world, actually, around the country. And we want you to be there. Not only are you going to find out about our ministry, but you're also going to be blessed with knowledge about how to minister to women who are facing a crisis pregnancy in your church, or perhaps have already undergone an abortion or miscarriage, and we'll give you some counseling on how to counsel them as well, or more information about how you can relate that young lady or young family to First Choice, where we can minister to them as well. It's going to be awesome. Again, that's going to be the Pro-Life Apologetics Pastor's Lunch. The Pro-Life Apologetics Pastor's Lunch at the Four Seasons Church. That's going to be May 14th, which is a Thursday, if I recall correctly. And that's going to be at 12 noon and at the Four Seasons Church. And again, if you'd like more information, there's two ways. First, you want to RSVP at 702-515-9844. That's the number to RSVP. Again, 702-515-9844. Or you can RSVP at our website, events@fcpschampions.org, and let us know that you're coming. Now, on May 7th, this is going to be a week earlier, is going to be the ladies' tea. Now, for you ladies out there, this is going to be a ladies only, a cup of grace for all of our ladies champions for First Choice. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be at the, checking it out, 2902 Lake East Drive, Cup of Grace, second annual ladies' tea. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be Thursday, May 7th at 1 p.m., and so it'd be nice if you let us know. You can call First Choice and let us know that you're going to be attending that as well. Our number, of course, 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. And you never know. You never know. For all you ladies out there, there may be some guy that comes in and crashes your tea. It could happen.
Could happen.
It could, whether it's wanted or not, it could very well happen. And when Max shows up uninvited at the ladies' tea, Actually, Max, you're probably going to be, Max, of course, is the producer of the show. Max, you're probably going to be there doing pictures and stuff anyway, right? Probably, yeah. So it's not like, there's not going to be any guys at all. Max is going to be there and, taking photographs, making sure it all happens. But, I might sneak in there. I might sneak in and say hi to all the beautiful ladies out there. I'm not going to stay for the whole thing, but I may have a cup of tea with y'all and share a funny story or two, and it's going to be awesome. So, again, that's going to be Thursday, May 7th at noon. At the address that we just made. What was the bring up that graphic one more time? I get the that is at 2902 East Lake East Drive, 2902 Lake East Drive, and it'll be a very awesome time. Last week, of course, we did the Comstock Act. Now, for all of you who are wondering about federal law, talking about delivering medication across state lines via the Postal Service. Anything that was to procure an abortion was outlawed back in 1875, I think it was. Right? And can you believe that? This guy, Comstock, had enough vision to foresee it far into the future and outlawed the mailing of abortion drugs through the mail back in the 1870s. And it is federal law. It's still on the books. Are we enforcing it? No. And for me, that's insanity, especially when you're dispensing millions of abortion drugs throughout the United States. So if you'd like more information about that, just pull up our show from last week. We went into great depth about the Comstock Act and its author, and still urging the Trump administration and the Food and Drug Administration to bring oversight to the distribution of poison that's pouring into all states. And a lot of pro-life states, as we mentioned, I think over half of the states in the United States, George, if you didn't know this, have laws on their books forbidding the mailing of drugs from some sort of agency to a person directly without going through a doctor first. I think 28 states have laws on their books, and this is in direct violation of that. And a number of those states are pro-life states. And so now these states are being flooded with abortion drugs, and they don't want it. Louisiana has now filed lawsuit against the Food and Drug Administration to prevent this from happening, and we're going to see where that goes. So, hopefully something good will happen there. George.
Yes.
They tried to shoot the president again.
No, they didn't. One crazy man tried to shoot the president.
I just can't believe this. This is the third attempt on a. This is what for those of you who think that statesmen like George and stateswomen, people who are running for political office, are doing it for self-gain. Listen, there's personal risk involved. Not only are you putting your reputation on the line, there's always going to be people that don't like your positions, whether left, right, middle, whatever, right? But there's some people who will actually go to extremes, like this nutcase. I think he's 30? Was he 31-year-old? Yeah, 31-year-old.
But that doesn't look. We don't. Everybody says, "Oh, he's a nutcase." We don't know if he's a nutcase. What we do know is that the Congress today has conditioned people that it's acceptable behavior. Because look, if you go around telling everybody that someone's Hitler all the time,
yeah,
in his mind, he thinks that he's saving the world, and I don't want to say. I assume that he's mentally ill, but you don't want to say that. What you want to say is he has been conditioned. He's a 31-year-old guy.
Yeah.
So he's still a relatively young guy.
Yeah. And
he's been conditioned by people that he believes are his leaders, that this is a threat to democracy. And he believes that, and he believes that if he takes up arms and he goes, that he's going to be a hero. And that's the sick thing, because the mentally ill people, in my opinion, are the people in Congress, because they know what they're doing. This is a conditioning problem. There's no adult supervision. It used to be in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, congressional people looked at what's going to happen to our country 30 years down the road, 40 years down the road. Mm-hmm. We don't do that anymore. And the Republicans don't do it and the Democrats don't do it. And it's a pathetic thing, because we don't have a lot of business people in the legislature, in the Congress. We need, and I'm a business guy. We need more people that understand complex issues, and we got to get away from this craziness.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even have an argument anymore.
Yeah, and the sad reality is, and you're right. I mean, I think Comey has now been arrested. This is the guy who was in charge of. Not the CIA, but what was his job?
He was in charge of the FBI.
He was in charge of the FBI. That's right, Comey, the FBI director. And because now he was in the sand and he put shells together, 86-47.
Right. You know what 86 means.
86. Right? Everybody knows 86 means 8 miles out, 6 feet down. Everybody knows that's code for, mafia to kill someone.
Right.
And for you to say, well, I was only kidding or joking and minimize it. No, look who you are. First of all, the FBI director. You're a very prominent
and that's
person.
where the problem is. The problem is the people that are supposed to protect us and are supposed to look after our children are making these outlandish, ridiculous statements.
And then you get Jimmy Kimmel. And he goes and he does it again, and he's telling Melania Trump that she should expect to be a widow. My goodness, how insensitive! Now I don't know if he said that. I didn't look at it because it makes me so upset to even hear about it. I don't know if he said it before.
To paraphrase, he said something like that, and they're trying to defend him by saying he's a comedian. Well, then he's a terrible comedian. Now the sad news is, if you want to know the sad news, when you pull the onion back, it stinks worse. He's from here. He went to Clark High School.
I didn't know that.
And
I didn't know that. Oh my goodness, he's one of our own.
He is. Look, these people, we hate America. We did it, And when I talk to people, they ask me, and they say, "Oh, America's this." And I said, "You're right, man." I said, "But have you traveled around the world? We may be the worst country in the world, but we're the best country in the world if you travel around the world." People don't. They look. They have been handed everything their whole lives. Mm-hmm. They feel entitled, and they. Look, what's her name? The actress. Well, I don't want to say she's an actress. The TV host who left the country, and now she wants to come back.
Was that Rosie?
Not Rosie, the other one. Gosh, I can't remember her name.
That's all right.
But she wants to come back, and they said, "Yeah, but she denounced her citizenship."
Oh well, then that's it. Then.
And they said, you got to get in line like everybody else.
Yeah, if you're going to Benedict Arnold yourself, then you're done.
And by the way, once you're in line, I don't know you're going to get past.
I'm speaking, folks, with George Harris, who is running for State Senate District 8 this election in November. And
I have a primary, so we got to get through.
We got to get through the primary first.
So we need all our soldiers, we need all our friends to make sure they vote in the primary. That's the other thing. Do you know Christians are horrible voters? Did you know that?
Yes.
And I don't know that. Let me go back to say horrible is a nice term. Christians are terrible, terrible, terrible voters, and they should be ashamed of themselves. I'm a Jesus follower, and the Lord tells us to protect everybody and everything.
Right.
And they've been conditioned by government that there's a separation of church and state. There's nowhere in the Constitution that says there's a separation of church and state.
Right.
There is nowhere in the Constitution that says that there is a separation of church and state.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you, a lot of pastors don't help, and I'll tell you how they do it. They fear losing their 501c3 status, so they fear that, well, if I go and I talk about a candidate, then I could lose my tax exempt status.
I can't get some pastors to talk about the life issue.
Yeah, and that's the other problem too, because everything gets lumped as political. And there comes a time when our laws and the issues that we face really step into our gospel message. I mean, here we are. Our studio is actually inside of a pregnancy help center here at First Choice, but abortion is so central to the gospel message because the Bible commands us to go and rescue those who are being led away to slaughter in Proverbs, right? We are told to go and reach those who are being led away to death. And if pastors are, out of fear or out of anything, are ignoring a commandment from Scripture, a portion of the gospel, because listen, if someone is not alive, it's going to be very hard to reach them with the gospel, right? And if women are hurting because they have an unplanned pregnancy or they've gone through something, and we fear addressing them because it crosses over into this issue that we think is political, then we're doing a disservice to not only our church but our community, but we're doing a disservice to the Bible and Scripture, whom we're commanded to obey.
But that's getting deep in the weeds, and I want just give me a second. A lot of churches are purple because, let's face it, it's a business.
Yeah,
I'm a business guy. I told you that. I know money and management and people, and churches are a business. No one ever wants to admit that.
Right.
But they're a business, so they tend to go purple so they don't offend anybody because they don't want to lose parishioners. But they are all good. Every pastor I know believes exactly what you just said. They all believe in it, but sometimes they pick and choose what they want to push. Okay, so if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about question 6.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's coming up
because
it's coming up on May. It's coming up in November, and we're going to be voting on it. And the crazy thing about question 6, for those of you who are not familiar with it, and If you haven't heard about it by now, you should have. Question 6 is going to be in a crazy amendment to our Constitution. It's already passed one election cycle in the state of Nevada, as you should know by now. If a proposition or a ballot question passes twice, then it becomes amended to our Nevada Constitution. Question 6 passes. We're going to have abortion through all 9 months potentially. We're going to have no parental notification for minors seeking abortion. So if you're a parent and you have a 12, 13, 14-year-old daughter, she gets pregnant, wants to have an abortion, you won't know about it until you get a phone call, or maybe she'll tell you afterwards, right? You have no oversight by the government, none whatsoever, none. There's the language forbids the state of Nevada from looking into the abortion problem through a governmental agency unless absolutely necessary. And you're going to remove physicians from doing abortion surgery and replacing them with certified
14 different categories.
Yeah, healthcare.
Well,
healthcare.
14 different categories of people are going to.
Yeah,
let's go through this step by step. Let's go through the history. The history is abortion is legal in the state of Nevada, and the people made it legal. In 1996, there was a question on the ballot that said you can have an abortion up to
24 weeks. Yes,
24 weeks, 6 months. You could have an abortion up to. It had to be performed by a doctor. You had to give parental notification. All the safety rails were on that. A lot of people don't understand what this is. This is what you call a turnout model. How do I get my base of Democrats, who tend to be center left to far left, to go to the polls and vote in primaries and vote in generals and get them angry? You say that Republicans and church people, they don't want you to have the right to have an abortion. And so last cycle, they started this program and they lied to everybody. And why? Because in 1996, we legalized abortion in Nevada. Now, You fast forward to 2024, when they started this process, 2 million people moved here to the valley, just to our valley. And these people went around and said, hey, abortion's not legal in Nevada. And like you said, nobody goes back and checks.
Right.
So, of course, all these people signed, and they were lied to. And of course, they signed the petition. Okay?
Right.
And what they didn't tell everybody is they're taking off every safety rail that's already in place. Okay? I disagree with abortion. I'm pro-life. I'm a Jesus follower. But the fact of the matter is, a majority of the people, whether I like it or not, in 1996 said you can have an abortion up to 26 weeks. You have to give parental notification, and you can only go to a doctor to do it. Right. Now, you and I totally disagree with that, but that's the law of the land. Okay? These people manipulated everybody. They got them to do it. Now what they've done is they've taken parental notification away. So that means your grandchild, for people my age, I'm going to be 65, my granddaughter, no one has to notify me that my granddaughter's pregnant. Okay? So now I don't get a grandbaby. Okay?
All right.
It's just absolutely obtuse and horrible. Then take that part away. Then they say, a doctor's a reason only doctors can provide abortions, because you have to have safety. They take every safety rule down.
Yeah.
Okay. But the worst thing in all of this is that you are going to put medicine and medical procedures in the Constitution. And that is no bueno. That's not good for anybody. The minute you start putting medical procedures and medical information into the Constitution is when the Constitution collapses. Because medicine, through AI, artificial intelligence, and we're going to soon have AIG, is, no one wants to ever talk about this. Everybody talks to me about AI. Oh my God, it's great. Oh, I'm so afraid. Oh, I'm so this. With AI, by 2027, you're going to wake up and you're going to take your blood pressure. Blood pressure is going to be 128/40. You're going to punch that into AI, and it's going to tell you what you got to do. And that's the problem. It's going to eliminate a lot of practitioner jobs. Mm-hmm. You don't want to put medicine into the Constitution because it's not going to. It won't stay the light. And then there's just other things. A chiropractor can perform it, a dentist. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's our responsibility. We do remember when I told you Christians were bad voters?
Yeah.
Well, Christians are bad. Hey, maybe this is our turnout model. It is so egregious and so horrible what they're doing with this question 6 that maybe you and I can get 2 million Nevadans to go out and vote and stop this nonsense.
Yeah.
When you talk to any man or woman and you say, hey, there's no health wrong, it's a healthy baby, but she's going to have an abortion in 9 months. They all go, what are you, insane?
Yeah, and it will be, if this passes, abortions will be cleared all the way through 9 months. Well, the insanity further is in California because now they've added the language perinatal. So now that means they can abort your child after it's born. So believe it or not, you would think that...
Yeah, listen. It's
insane out there.
I know, but
we're inching closer.
But I know that's been talked about. I know that they think they can do that. The federal government's never going to allow that to happen. That is murder. I mean, once a baby's out into life, and
I don't think they care.
No, they do care.
I really don't. But I could be wrong.
People in California don't care.
Yeah.
But the federal law is pretty clear. And if there's a baby that's outside the womb and the baby's living, if you kill that baby, you've murdered that baby.
Yeah, well, there's an argument to be made that if the umbilical cord's still attached, you still have a pregnancy. So listen, the bottom line is if we have abortion through all 9 months in the state of Nevada, which is looming for our state, unless Christians turn out to vote en masse, then we're going to have. You know what I'm worried? What I hope happens. Lord forbid that it does pass. I hope that we wake up and we realize that we need to challenge this amendment through the courts because this is insanity. You've stripped away parental rights. You've eroded or eradicated medical oversight.
But look,
right?
now you're talking defeatist. We can't defeat Your
maybe
no.
Well,
listen,
we've lost the first round.
No, we lost the first round because no one paid attention.
Yeah.
Let's talk about facts here. The first round was everybody was upset about it, but there was not this groundswell and outcry.
Yeah.
Every single week, I go to Hope Church. I go to Pastor Greg. And every week they talk about question 6 and how you have to vote no.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have a groundswell. If Christians don't get up and it gets passed, shame on Christians because there's more of us than there is of them by 2.2 to 1. Okay? So all everybody has to do is get involved and go out and vote. Everybody's got to understand there is no such thing. There is no such thing as separation of church and state. It is nowhere in the Constitution of the United States. This was a made-up thing from the late 50s, early 60s, so they could stifle any kind of person or group that wanted to say, hey, you got to do this.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's unconstitutional that they threaten pastors to take away their 501c3 status.
Yeah.
I mean, look, let's be frank here. Let's look at the 501c3. I think it's nonsense. I think across the board, and you may disagree with me, but I think anybody, look, if the guy who started Scientology is now a 501c3, then anybody can be a 501c3. I mean, he was a space, he was a writer. He was a
science fiction writer.
A science fiction writer.
Yeah.
I mean, and you got to give him credit. He figured out a way to make a ton of money without having to pay taxes.
Well, I'm speaking
Hubbard,
with
what's it, right?
L. Ron Hubbard, yeah.
L. Ron Hubbard, who lives in a cupboard. They'll be knocking on my door over that statement.
So I'm speaking with George Harris, who's running for State Senate District 8. And that's for you folks who don't know where District 8 is. That's in the western part. In fact, let's pull up the district. We're going to show everybody where we're at. This is West Las Vegas, right?
Well, so if you're on 215 and you come up from Tropicana, and then it goes all the way over to Summerlin Parkway, goes all the way up to the mountains, and it goes all the way down to Durango.
So you got a big chunk of Summerlin, basically.
I got most of Summerlin.
Yeah.
Most of Summerlin.
And so, I'm just outside your district, actually.
You're just outside my district, I think, by about a mile.
Yeah.
From where you showed me.
So, if we can get some redistricting going. No, I'm just kidding. That's all the big thing. That's also in the news. A lot of redistricting going on, but successful stuff. I think in Florida, I think they've had some
Florida,
success.
Texas.
Yeah, so there's some interesting things, but then, you've got wackos in other states that's doing stuff. So, but anyway, so we're going to make it through the primary, right?
We got to make it through the primary.
When is that primary coming
That
up?
primary is November. November. My brain's not working. That primary is June 9th.
June 9th, okay.
And we're pretty confident we're going to... Look, the guy I'm running against is a nice guy, but he's a 30-year... Look, I'm a businessman, okay? I'm a retired CEO of a big company. I understand budgets. I understand management. I understand people. I understand how to bring complex problems and explain them all the way down probably to an 8th grade level. The legislature is full of very nice people, but there's too many activists, too many retired bureaucrats whose agenda is not the agenda of the taxpayer. Now, remember, I have no desire to do this, just so you know.
Right.
I don't need to be a senator. I'm fine. My life is good. I'm retired. I'm on Social Security. I'm serious. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I'll tell you two true reasons. One, I have a lot to offer. Two, I came home one day and my wife said, "Hey, how's that retirement working for you?" I said, "It's fantastic." And she goes, "Not so much for me." She goes, "I work out of the house. You have to leave here at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can come back at 5. And so I got evicted from my house, every day to go. And I go, "Well, what should I do?" And she goes, "You love politics. Go run for office." So that's what I'm doing. Now, and let's talk about big problems that these politicians have kicked down the field because they don't know how to manage the problems. We've known for 4 years. That the gas problem from California, because of the way they have their regulations and stuff,
right.
Okay? We've known that those refineries were closing. One already closed, then another closed. Now we know another one's going to close this in May, okay? The prices in Nevada, if the war ends tomorrow, the prices in Nevada are still going to go up. There's a possibility we have $8 gas before the general election.
Right.
And why? Because politicians didn't look at this problem 4 years ago. They should have anticipated with this crazy guy next to us.
Right, talking about Governor Newsom.
making all these outlandish, crazy rules and regulations to where he's having industry shut down. So now we need to look at going to Utah. Salt Lake, I think, would be the smart move. Bringing another straw from Salt Lake from the Sinclair line into West Windover, building a transfer station. And I'm pretty sure we can avoid a lot of the impact studies and stuff because the president can sign an executive order because of the Wars Acts, because we have Nellis Air Force Base and we have Found Air Station. Mm-hmm. But here's the priority. Here's who gets gasoline first before you and I. Who gets gasoline first?
The military.
Military, number one. So those guys get their gasoline first. Who gets it second?
Government workers?
Government. Government. They got to have it, So we're third or fourth down the line. Because after government, you got some private first responders that get it. So now, all these companies, Las Vegas Petroleum, Terrible Herbst, Gulf, Phillips 60, they all compete on an hourly basis for the fuel coming up through the pipelines. So that's a big problem that takes adult supervision and someone with experience, business experience, to look at and fix. And I'm definitely that guy, okay? Because I know how to do that. Now, here's the other thing. This problem's aren't going to be solved overnight. This is a 5-year problem. Well, the problem is it used to be in the legislatures, you used to look down the highway 10, 15 years. We haven't looked down the highway for the state of Nevada for 10 or 15 years, forever. We've got major problems here. I told you, the straw coming in. We have to address the roads. Yeah. I mean, you want some adult supervision? Look, I knock on doors and talk to people and they tell me, here's the problems, okay? I don't listen to any consultants who say, "Oh, you need to talk about this because we did a poll." I don't care about your polls. When I go to the doors, I said, "Hey, if you could fix anything, what would you fix?" Here's what I get consistently. "I tell you, I'd fire whoever keeps putting all those cones in the road." So I looked into it because I'm telling you, you know, it's like a cone festival out there. Wherever you go, there's cones.
Yeah.
And I talked to a couple of guys that own those companies, and I said, "What's the deal with the cones, man? Why now?" And he goes, "Well, we get this job from NDOT on Tropicana, and the job is a 45-day job that always lasts 6 months. So we have the cones out there. When the job is finished, they tend to leave the cones there. Why do you leave the cones there? Because if we pick them up and we take them back to the yard, all that's labor cost." I go, "Yeah, I understand that." "Well, we're bidding to do a job, 2.5 miles away. So we can just pick up the cones and take them 2.5 miles away, but we haven't got the job yet." So they just sit there on the road. And it angers a lot of people. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because I know you've driven down these roads and the construction's been done, So I'm going to get everybody to put some adult supervision. I'm going to go to everybody and say, "Look, why don't we make policy that says if you're done with a job or the job's done, the cones have to be removed in 72 hours.
You would think that would not be you would not have to legislate this.
Oh, are you kidding me? This is what happens when you have people in the legislature whose agenda is not the taxpayer agenda. It's their own agenda. They only care about they're activists,
right?
Or lawyers or retired bureaucrats. And they're just up there. There's a lot of people up there that just want to be called senator and assembly person.
Yeah, looks good on a resume.
And to be frank with you, they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer. I've had 7 or 8 lobbyists call me and tell me they will make sure I never get elected. And I said, "Well, thank you." And they go, "Why would you thank me?" I said, "Because I need a boogeyman, and you've just became my boogeyman." Because that's the problem. We put term limits in place, which was a really good idea on the face. But the fact of the matter is, no one looked at the unintended consequence. When you take away institutional knowledge, who becomes the power base? The lobbyist. So the lobbyists are up there, and they don't care about anybody but themselves, and they're just putting money in their pockets. So we've got to go up and change some rules, and I'm going to advocate that we put lobbyists, we limit their term, that they can come up, and people are going to say it's unconstitutional, but it's not, because term limits was found unconstitutional. Well, now you're talking about private citizens who are lobbyists who have more power than legislators. I say, look, you can serve 2 sessions up here, and then you got to do a cooling off period for 2 sessions, because it rips their power away.
All right. We're talking with George Harris, who's running for State Senate District 8, and that's West Las Vegas, most of Summerlin. So if you're living in there, in that area, you're looking at a potential candidate. So listen, we're going to take a break. We're going to hear from one of our sponsors, and we will be right back. And I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge RTS Postal Express for all your printing needs, whether it's color copies, whether it's black and white copies. Maybe you would like your company or business logo on your shirts or your cups or your umbrellas, or perhaps you need business banners or signs. You name it, RTS Postal Express. My man Angelo, if you mention Champions for Life, you will get a discount on your order, so make it a big one. For more information, contact RTS at 702-489-4859. Again, that's 702-489-4859. RTS Postal Express, one of the proud sponsors of the Champions for Life broadcast. And welcome back, folks, to the Champions for Life. I want to thank our sponsors for being part of this broadcast, because without them, well, we wouldn't be on the air. And I want to let you know as well that if you are a businessman, businesswoman, and you are interested in being a sponsor of this broadcast, well, first of all, understand that you are going to be helping our pregnancy center. And God's going to bless you. He's going to bless your business. And in fact, he could bless it so much that you'll have more business than you know what to do with. And of course, that's not our problem.
That'd be a good problem.
That would be a good
problem you want.
That's the kind of problem you want. And you just simply have to open up a new office, and that's all there is to it. So we love our sponsors, and you can be one. So if you're interested in being a sponsor of this broadcast, for those of you who are CEOs or sit on boards, you could make First Choice part of your philanthropic donation, either quarterly, semi-annually, or annually, and it will be a blessing to your company. And of course, it's tax deductible, not only as a business expense, but we are also a charitable clinic. We are a 501c3, and we will certainly, God will certainly bless you, but it'll be a blessing to us, and we can continue to help serve our community. And I also want to mention the fact that our dream, our goal, is to open up another First Choice Pregnancy Services center, just like this one, perhaps even bigger, at another location here in Las Vegas. So we really do appreciate your donation. And just to let you know that how busy and how needed this is, just to tell you how busy we're here at First Choice, last week we had 48 clients for whom we did free pregnancy tests, and 24 of those we gave a free ultrasound, free of charge. And that's the beautiful thing about First Choice. We don't charge our clients for a dime for any of the services that we provide. We don't charge for the pregnancy test. We don't charge for the ultrasound. We don't charge for the counseling. We don't charge for channeling them to resources, whether it's through Every Life for diapers or anything. And we want to continue doing this through our valley. Listen, there's 3.5 million people here in our valley, right? And there's only 2 pregnancy help centers in our city, and we need many more to meet the needs of our young ladies and families here in Las Vegas. So again, if you'd like to be a sponsor of this broadcast, listen, find out how affordable it is, but remember this: God will absolutely bless you as you help us minister to our community. And not only that, take a guess, George. Since we've been open for 20 years, this is our 20th year, how many, I like to say birthdays, how many lives, how many children are alive today from the clients that have walked through our doors? Take a guess.
12,700.
Not even close. Not even close. We are up to 47,000 children.
Wow, that's impressive.
That are alive today. We could crest 50,000 possibly by the end of this year, certainly next. 50,000. Isn't that amazing, through one center? That just tells you, that speaks to the need.
It's definitely a blessing.
Isn't it a blessing? Isn't it amazing? And now our services have expanded into the abortion pill reversal thing, and we have a couple of dozen children that are alive just from our reversal protocol, from women who've taken the abortion drug and changed their mind. Or maybe they took it and found out, oh, wait a minute, what have I taken? Or who gave me this? And they've called our number, they've called our hotline, and we were able to reverse this. For you young ladies and families that are looking to, that need assistance through our website, you can log in to firstchoicelv.com. That's our client side, firstchoicelv.com. And not only can you book 24/7, can you obtain a nurse 24/7 on our website, via our website, but if you need a doctor to help counter the abortion drug poison that you've ingested, and that number is 877-558-0333 for our abortion pill reversal protocol. And the amazing thing is, George, we've had, I think we're up to a couple of dozen children that are alive today because of our abortion pill reversal protocol. Isn't that amazing?
I think it's phenomenal.
And we're doing it all free. So again, like I said, if you want to be a part of this broadcast, a part of this ministry, it's such an incredible blessing. Give us a call. Our number is right there on the bottom of the screen, or you can give us a call. Our number is 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273, and find out how you and your business can be a sponsor or a blessing. I want to take a moment to acknowledge one of the great sponsors that make this portion of the broadcast possible, and that's Dr. Ray Kelly of Kelly Chiropractic. Treats injuries from falls, accidents, motor vehicle crashes, work-related incidents. For those of you who are suffering from allergies, he also has a procedure called acutherapy, going to treat your allergies and ease some of that discomfort. Accepts most forms of insurance. Been in the business over 33 years here in Las Vegas. Give him a call. Set up your appointment. The number is 702-870-9200. All right, folks, and welcome back, folks. I want to thank, again, wonderful sponsors, such as Dr. Ray Kelly. And Ray Kelly, we absolutely love. Not only is Dr. Ray Kelly a wonderful chiropractor, and it's just simply awesome. Not only will he, straighten your back, but he has things like acutherapy. For those of you who are suffering from allergy and need some relief, he has an amazing procedure for that. And it doesn't matter what kind of pain you're suffering from, whether it's plantar fasciitis all the way up to neck pain, he can handle it all. And it's just amazing. Been in business, 33, I think going on 34 years. And he's also a pastor.
Have you talked to him?
He's a sponsor.
Is he excited about being able to give abortions? I'm pretty sure he's not.
No, he's a doc. He's a chiropractor.
But
he's not
under
going
the question 6, chiropractors
this is true.
allowed.
That's right.
That's
exactly right.
And I
That's
bet
his
you it
point.
scares the willies out of him.
Yeah, and it does, and I'm sure it does because not only, but he's a licensed doctor, so you'd almost say, well, he's a chiropractor, but he can still do. But you're going to have people like nurses. A tattoo artist is listed. In fact, if you pull up the NRS statute
It'll
about
make you sick to your stomach.
you have a list of about 30 or so different categories of what's considered a healthcare professional that's listed in the NRS. You have veterinarians, you have tattoo artists, you have massage. It's crazy. And all of these will be covered under question 6 of being able to supply abortion surgery, or including the abortion pill, to anyone who wants it. Is that not insane? On those grounds alone, we should be able to appeal this through our court system to have this struck down.
We don't need to appeal to the court system if everybody gets off their duff and goes and votes it down.
Says George Harris, who's running for State Senate District 8. He's going to be the next senator out there, potentially.
Well, that's our goal.
And
what else do you want to talk about?
Well,
let's talk about school choice.
You want since
I'm the candidate and you invited me on.
What are you going to do about school choice?
Well, I think, look, you want to hear a really bizarre thing? I got into this because I went to the public schools here. I went to Farron, Joe Mackey, Woodbury Junior High School, and Clark. Or not Clark. My kids went to Clark. I went to Valley. So I went to all the public schools.
Yeah.
There was no craziness when I went to school here.
Where have you been?
Now it's all crazy.
Yeah, it's very much crazy.
It's
you know how many lockdowns my school has had or my kids
So when my opponent, Marilyn Dondero Loop, entered the legislature 17 years ago, we were 42nd in the United States in education, 42nd out of 50. She's done such a great job over that period of time. We went from 42nd
50th
to 48th.
We're 48th. I didn't know we were that high.
And let me tell you, she during her time she has been the chairman of education. Mm-hmm. So that's not adult supervision. She doesn't understand policy. She doesn't understand how to. So we're 48th in the nation, but when you look at our charter schools and private schools, we rank like between 6 and 14.
I didn't know that, actually.
So you look and you go, wow. So why aren't we looking at how they're modeling these charter? And that's why the teachers union hates the charter schools so much.
And that's the thing.
So I think the only way we can resolve this issue is through choice. Okay, so I told you I was a CEO of a big company. Okay, when you have choice and you turn over to the parents where they want their kid to, if a parent wants their kid to go to Henderson to go to school because it's a good school, let it happen. Oh, but then your school is gonna close because that's called competition.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many problems in the school district that need to be looked at and have policy decisions made that can help the school district. They spent $47 million last year in gasoline moving students from point A to point B. And everybody asked me, they go, oh, these kids are wild in school. Of course they're wild in school. You get them up at 6:45 in the morning. They're at the bus stop at 7. They're riding on a bus for 45 to 50 minutes. What do you think they're doing? They're riled up. That's why you have bullying, because there's no adult on the bus, with the exception of the bus driver, who's got to drive, doesn't have time to babysit all these kids. And so they get off the bus, they're already wound up, and they have problems in schools. I say, look, let's go back, let's review all this, let's see how we can get these kids as close to their homes. I'm hoping less than a mile from their homes to where their school is. Mm-hmm. So the parents can drop them off at school, these are simple, easy things.
Right.
Okay? Look, the number one issue we have to deal with is our kids. And
For
the
sure.
kids, and we need to make sure that our kids have an opportunity to prosper. And you can't do that with this bureaucratic cabal that manages children. You just can't do it.
Yeah, yeah. I've the school districts obviously have a lot of problems. I mean, even starting with school safety, I think we've had a number of kids that have actually been killed, just being run over from trying to get to school. In fact, I went to one of the school board meetings. I said, look, you have a law in the books, right, in your school guidelines, which states that, for example, if your child lives within 2 miles of the school, we're not sending a bus to pick them up. They have to walk. Well, guess what? What happens? Now you have a ton of young children who are walking, and surprise, now you have, I think they're well over 100 by now, of children who've been hit by cars, and there's been some fatalities this year, right? And I said, listen, there's a simple fix for this. First of all, you don't want, how about just having elementary and middle school kids not walk to school? Because there were 2 fatalities in 1 week, right? And both of those kids were very young. I'm saying, why not just have a policy where if a mom files out a form and said, listen, I'm a single parent, I live within 2 miles, but listen, I have an elementary school child or a middle school child, very young, right? Make an exception, go have a bus, go pick them up. And that's just a simple solution. And it's sad that you would have to rely on parents to come up with common sense solutions just for child safety to get to school. But apparently you
Told you we have adult problems that need to be resolved.
They asked me to run for the school. They asked me to run as a trustee. I thought about it. I actually thought about it. But I mean, but I thought about it because even though I'm not a big fan of the public school system, I have 2 children that are in it, 3 actually, that are in it. And, I thought about it, maybe one day.
What else do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to talk about.
I don't have the answer to that question.
You.
So let's pick something easier. I've talked about complicated issues. Now let's talk about something simple.
Oh boy, how are you? How is I don't know what. Well, first of all, hold on a second. Here's something I do want to talk about. First of all, we're going to be celebrating this July 4th, the 250th anniversary of our birthday of our United States.
Correct.
And you are going to be doing something in preparation for that for Memorial Day. That's coming up.
What my campaign and actually 37 other campaigns are throwing a big America celebration at Atomic Motors.
Yeah.
And we're going to do military appreciation. I'm a service-disabled veteran. So we're going to get a bunch of folks there. It's on Sunday, May 24th. Starts at 10, ends at 4. We're going to have music. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have art and classic cars. Look, he's got 435 classic cars at Atomic Motors.
Hey,
this is just going to be the time, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be a good, and I invite all Christians, because when they come, guess what? There's going to be a tent there because it's for question 6. Nice. So if every Christian out there shows up to Atomic Motors on Sunday, the 24th at 10 a.m.
May 24th, 10 a.m.
They can come over to the question 6 tent and they can ask every question, but they can see the facts and the truth behind this question 10.
All right, now here's where it's going to be. It's going to be 704 West Sunset Road in Henderson. 704 West Sunset Road, Sunday, May 24th, starting at 10 a.m. Listen, there's going to be cars. Listen, everybody loves these cars. And there's going to be music. There's going to be food.
Hot dogs.
There's going to be hot
apple
dogs.
Pie, Chevrolets.
It's going to be awesome. And you're going to have questions. You're going to have Nevada Right to Life is going to be there.
So you're going to have Nevada Right to Life. You're going to have question 6. You're going to have question 7, which is voter ID. You're going to have almost all the candidates running. The governor's got a tent there. Look, you might be able to come up and the governor will be there and you can say, I disagree with you on this.
Yeah, fix that.
Fix that.
And,
Metro's going to have their cyber truck there. This is going to be a great day for everybody. It's going to be fun and cool.
704 West Sunset Road in Henderson. 704.
I like that up
West
there. And when I look
Sunset
at it,
Road.
it makes it look like I'm looking
And
at...
and then whose big name is that
Who's
on
big
there?
Oh, hey,
It's George Harris,
There you
State
go.
Senate District 8. But you're not sponsoring the entire event, but you will be there.
I'll be there, and I'm telling you, I'm working took us off to make sure that we get everybody there, and everybody's.
That's where you want to be.
And listen, we're letting people that you're going to be able to vote for. There's going to be, I think, 40 to 43 candidates that are going to have tents, and they're going to be from all over the county. And you're Danny Tarkanian, the guy running for Attorney General. The Lieutenant Governor's going to be there. The treasurer's going to be there. People that you would never see in a menu. People are going to go up and they're going to see the treasurer and go, "What's the treasurer do?" Because nobody knows what the treasurer does.
What is he doing?
You know? And nobody knows what he does.
And so that's going to be fun. And not only that, we've got the Christians and Candidates Forum. That's coming up Sunday, May 3rd. I mean, that's coming. That's right around the corner.
That's at Red Rock Cavalry, and I'll be there.
Calvary Red Rock, Sunday, May 3rd, 2 p.m. That's 10050 Banbury Cross Drive.
That's up
Calvary Red Rock.
And it's at Calvary Red Rock up in Summerlin, right next to the Summerlin Hospital. So it's not that hard to get to. You come off the freeway. It's the street before the Summerlin Hospital. You walk in, you go into the thing, and you can meet all the candidates. I think someone told me that they got like 40 candidates coming.
Wow. Christian and Candidates Forum. Again, this is Sunday, May 3rd at 2 p.m.
I want to give a
Calvary
shout
Red
out.
Rock.
Alex Slack is the one who's running that, and she's just a phenomenal human being.
And you've got to go and meet these guys.
And Pastor Greg, it's going to be fun.
And listen, 40 candidates. Come out and get to know maybe there's some judges out there you'll get to meet. Yeah.
Oh, there'll be judges.
There'll be some judges. Listen, you want people who are sober-minded, sitting behind with the gavel.
You want to meet a couple of judges just in case they'll fix your parking tickets. I'm sorry, that they can't do.
By the way, the views and opinions expressed
are the views of George Harris and not the show.
And not First Choice Pregnancy Services.
And First Choice Pregnancy does not
endorse any candidates. That's right. That's exactly right. By the way, I will say, listen, a lot of people are scared to do this. Perhaps you are a Democrat and you would like to talk about, maybe you're a pro-life Democrat. Maybe you'd like to come on the show. We'd love to have you. And you may talk about...
I would hope that Democrats would come on your show.
You would think, especially on question 6. And so I would have no problem bringing them on and talking about it and then introducing them to what we're doing here at First Choice. I think it would be awesome. So if you want more information about doing that or being a guest on this broadcast, you can do so by contacting us at right here at First Choice. Our number 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. And said, hey, look, I think I'd be a great guest on that show.
I think you'd be a great guest too.
Yeah, and so, well, look here. We've come almost to the end of the broadcast. Listen, again, I really want to emphasize this. This Christian and Candidates Forum that's coming up on May 3rd, you really want to be there this Sunday, May 3rd, 2 p.m. So after church on Sunday, you want to drive up to somewhere. By the way, is there going to be any food there, or you need to go ahead and eat before you get there?
No, there'll be food.
There's even going to be food.
She's always good at having food.
There's going to be some food there, so maybe you'll have lunch, be able to have a little quick lunch at the Christian Candidates Forum. Again, that's going to be Sunday, May 3rd at 2 p.m. You definitely want to be there for that. That's 10050 Banbury, B-A-N, Banbury Cross Drive. That's Calvary Red Rock Church. And, of course, before we let George go, we're going to get an endorsement apparently from his dog. Now, for those of you who are listening on the radio...
That's not my dog. It's my daughter.
I'm being forced by
He's not
the
being
next
forced.
state senator.
He's enjoying having fun.
I'm going to read, apparently, an endorsement by not your dog, but your... whatever. Hi, my name is Jasmine Moreau Harris, but my family calls me Jazz. My dad is George Harris. My dad? That's a dog. Never mind. My dad is George Harris, and I want you to know he's a great dad. We walk in the Gardens Park together every morning and every night, and he always makes sure I'm safe, happy, and loved. That's just who he is, and I know that he'll take the same care and protect neighborhoods and help make our schools safer for families like ours. Love Jazz, and that's not your dog. Your dog gave you an endorsement.
Let me tell you, that dog is with me all the time, every day.
If you could see this, you could see a picture of this ridiculously cute poodle or whatever it is.
She's a golden doodle.
Whatever
Not a poodle, but a doodle.
Yeah, if you want to see his endorsement by his dog, you'll have to log into FCPS Champions on YouTube.
Or go to votegeorgeharris.com. That is votegeorgeharris.com.
The views and opinions of the broadcaster and Champions for Life do not reflect the opinions of First Choice Pregnancy Services or their staff.
I want to thank both of you for having me. This is more fun. Seriously, you guys. I go to these events, to these podcasts and stuff every day, and it's great when you're with people that are like-minded and people that understand. Look, we're under siege, and question 6 is under siege.
Yep.
And we've got to just tell everybody, hop on board.
Amen. Well, folks, that's it. Listen, if you have questions about anything you've heard today, give First Choice a call. Our number, again, 702-294-CARE. And remember, if you don't remember anything else, you can be a champion for life.